Everybody, TC Bradley, host of God Made Millionaire TV, the hottest show on television. And I've been waiting all week for you, yes you, to stop on by and watch our show. And what a show we've got lined up for you. Waiting on set, we have one of our nation's heroes, Dr. Clayton Ramsue. Dr. Clayton Ramsue is a retired medical doctor with the U.S. Navy and also served with the United States Air Force. He's an incredible leader, not only in the military, but also in the medical community, where he's making a powerful difference to practitioners in that community. He's waiting for us on set right now. So without any further ado, let's crack open our vault. Let's get this show started. Dr. Ramsue, welcome to the show.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
You know, it's an honor and a privilege to have you on the show. Now, you are Dr. Ramsue. You're an actual medical doctor, is that correct?
Yes, sir, I am.
Give us a little background of your backstory. You have a fascinating backstory. Anxious for our listening audience to know more about you.
And I'm happy to tell them. I'm originally from Philadelphia. And when I was educated in Philadelphia, went to a good school, came from a good family, but I did not believe in myself. I was told when I was in the 3rd grade that I read out loud. And when I read out loud, I sounded ignorant when I read out loud. Teachers actually told you those things back in those days. As I went along in school, when I was in high school, my high school counselor told me that I would never amount to anything because I was a class clown. And my parents at the time could not afford to send me to college. They said they would do anything in their power to do it, but I had to be serious. And at that particular time, I really wasn't serious about it. So I went into the military. I went into the Navy, which was good. I went into a program called Broad and Opportunity for Officer Selection and Training, which was supposed to be a 1-year prep program. And after that program, if you succeeded in that program, you would go to get an ROTC scholarship and go to college on a full Navy scholarship. That's when I met with some adversity and failure there. I still had somewhat of a math phobia. In my first semester, all your grades had to be above 75 for you to negotiate the program. So at midterm, I had a 73 in math. All my other grades were fine, in high 80s, 90s. But came the end of the semester, I had a 74.5 in math at the end of my first semester. Now, in the real world, you think I would get that rounded up, but the Navy did not say that. And my contract said that if I washed out the program, I owed them 4 years of service. So I washed out that program. So I was devastated. I mean, I'm
Whoa! A half a point, they didn't round it off.
No, 75. They meant 75. 75 is what they meant.
75 is what was, and you were devastated.
I was devastated. And at that time, I was 18. I was in San Diego, away from home, away from my parents, first time away from home. And I didn't know what to do. So, but the good thing about it was I had good enough scores to get any job in the Navy that I wanted. And I wanted to be an intelligence specialist. They told me that you can go to that school and it starts in 2 months. 2 days later, the commander came back and said, we're not waiting 2 months for you. You owe the Navy now. So you're going to go over to the hospital. Here's your bus ticket. Go around to the hospital, Balboa Hospital, and you're going to become a hospital corpsman. I had no idea what a hospital corpsman. I didn't know what that field was. I wanted to be a lawyer. I wanted to major in business and become an attorney.
Right.
So
that was your plan.
That was my plan.
Right.
But again, you can be slowed down from your destiny, but you can't be stopped. I didn't know anything.
Wait a minute. Hold on. See, you just coming on the show, you just dropping the gloves, right?
We're going to drop it all day.
Yeah. You can be slowed down from your destiny, but
you can't be stopped.
That's a word for somebody. You just dropping them, Dr. Ramsue. Go ahead.
So I became a hospital corpsman. Actually, I did pretty well in that school.
What is a hospital corpsman for the people listening?
So basically, that's
the Army guys listening.
It's a medic for you Army guys. It's someone that assists in the hospital. In the civilian community, it would be considered everything from a medical assistant. So that's where I learned, and then I became a surgical technician. Got stationed in Bethesda, and that's when the mindset came in. I said, I think I might want to be a doctor. But again, you were talking about the late 80s. And still at that particular time, you did not see a lot of African-American officers that were physicians. I didn't have anybody really I could go to talk about that. The people that were around me told me, well, what black guy do you know that's enlisted that becomes not only an officer, but becomes a physician? But there was one person.
Dr. Ramsue, they have been counting you out from the day you were born.
Underestimation.
You've been underestimated your entire life, it almost seems.
And you know what? I've learned to respect that, and it's okay.
Do you hear that listening at home? There's people watching right now. You've been underestimated. You've been taken for granted for your entire life. And here, God has sent Dr. Ramsue to say, you know what? It ain't over, baby.
It's never over. Not to this day.
When did you make the decision to become a medical doctor?
When I was stationed at Naval Hospital, Bethesda, Maryland.
Right.
I was working in the ENT department there. And I decided, I was trained, my job was to train the interns in the OR about how to glove and put on and proceed in the OR. And I just thought, I said, you know what? I'm just as smart as they are. I can do this.
Right.
And I got encouragement from one of the physicians, Dr. David Clark, and I reached out to him years later, maybe about a year ago, and told him thank you because he made a difference.
Wow.
He said, you can go to medical school. You can do this. If you hang in there the first 2 years, the other 2 years, you're just like going back to work. You've already done this. You've got this. So if that's what you want to do, go do it.
Wow.
So there are people sent to encourage you in your life. And you don't know what they might look like. You have no idea what they might say in your darkest moment, when you're about to give up, when you don't believe in yourself.
Come on, doctor.
They'll show up.
I'm trying to do an interview and be nice with you. You get me ready to run. I'm ready to go hit something off the set. You got me so jacked up. I'm telling you right now.
And that changed a lot of things.
So many defining moments in your life.
So many, and still.
Right.
They're not over.
Oh, no.
This is one.
Right.
I was able to go to South Carolina State University, which is the HBCU. Did well there. Went to Morehouse School of Medicine. Did well there. Still, I'm on adjunct faculty there and work with the medical students there. I got to train at Mayo Clinic.
Wow. What was that like?
It was a great experience. You actually had people there that their sole intent is to make you an excellent physician. And if you hold on to 70% of what they say, you're going to be good, because these are worldwide leaders. Right. And you're being trained by them. So it was a good training round. But again, were there a lot of people there that looked like me? No. So, but again, that's why I went back in the military. I served after I finished my residency. Why? Because when I was coming through as an enlisted sailor, there was no one that looked like me, that was approachable, that I could talk to about furthering my career, just about going back to school, about helping other people. And I said I was going to be that person.
So you could have transitioned into private practice. Absolutely. Where the big dollars are at, is what you're telling me. But you made a decision to go back in to be of service.
Yes, sir.
Is that what you're saying to me?
Yes, sir.
Listen, there's mothers and fathers. You're watching this, you have your kids at home. They've got a dream to be a doctor, and they've been talked out of that dream. They've been talked down on that dream. I want you to get them, and get them to watch this show. This is incredible information. Doctor, go ahead, continue on.
So after I went back in the military, I switched over to the Air Force, and upon my retirement, there was another defining moment. My commanding officer asked me before my retirement, so what do you think was your greatest contribution while you were in the military? I served 25 years. What do you think was your greatest contribution? And I said, I think I was a good leader. I think I was a good doctor. And she said, no, that wasn't it. So I was confused at the time. I said, so what is it? She was like, I've taught the people not only that you served here, but I've taught the people from your past, and it's your mentorship. So that was another defining moment for me, is that I help people. That's what I do. That's what I'm best at. So that launched my coaching career. My wife even noticed that when I started working back with the medical students again, that I came home fired up. I came home charged up, because these young people, I really had something to give them. Right. And I accumulated this knowledge and experience, and I really wanted to give it to them.
What would you say is a key to being a great leader? Not an average leader, but I'm talking about an exceptional leader. What is a key, do you think?
And for me, it is understanding that it's not about you. Realizing that you're there to serve. One of my priorities was always taking care of my troops. And even sometimes that was to my detriment. But that was important to me. Looking out for those people who cannot speak for themselves or speak up for themselves. That's what I do. That's what my family does. And that's what we're going to continue to do.
Hey everybody, TC Bradley, host of God Made Millionaire TV, and I was thinking the other day of how my life was profoundly impacted and changed for the better when I published my first book, Supernatural Success. Within 45 days of publishing that book, I signed a major TV deal to feature and promote my book on that TV show. After that, I published another book, got invited back to another TV show. If you're watching this video, listen. You've been given a God-given dream to publish a book. He's given you an assignment to do, and like me, you want to try to talk yourself out of it. I didn't talk myself out of it, and my life was profoundly changed. I want to help you publish your book. If you've been given a God-given dream, an assignment to publish your book, well, we have a publishing company designed specifically from A to Z to handle all of those details for you. All you need to do right now at this point is set an appointment up with our publishing company so that we can talk to you about bringing your book to the marketplace and your voice to the nations on our show, God Made Millionaire TV, as a published author. Dr. Ramsue, right now at this moment, those moms and dads, they got their kids in front of the TV now. We gave you an opportunity to get them in front of the TV right now.
Right.
Dr. Ramsue, what I want to do is I want you to speak that message to these kids in our communities, to give them a message of hope and inspiration. Now, I'm not done with you, but I do want you to speak to the kids right now that have that dream, but they don't have, or they have somebody that has taken them for granted, for instance. So speak to them if you don't mind, sir.
Sure. What you have to understand is that there will be many no's in your life. That's not what you have to pay attention to. You have to start understanding the power of just one yes. Understand the power of that one yes. Doesn't matter what someone else told you. It doesn't matter how you sometimes view yourself. Sometimes you have to understand, you have to view yourself the way God views you. And He views you as something wonderful. He has a purpose for you. You are unique. Someone is out there waiting to hear exactly what you have to say, the way you have to say it. So don't disappoint them. Be that person.
Wonderful. Dr. Ramsue, take me into your faith. Tell me the role that your faith has played in your career, in your success.
It's one of my things that's in my leadership philosophy. Had a course where they had to come up with your leadership philosophy, and my faith is the cornerstone of that. And I realized that as I went back over it. Now, there's a couple songs that say, I've been, running with God for a long time and I'm not tired yet.
Right.
There was a lot of time I was running from God because I didn't realize I was special. I didn't know I was special. I didn't think I was worthy to be special. But once I faced Him and understood and talked to Him, and He said to me, by yourself, you're not. With me, we can do great things. So join me and let's see where we can go.
That's powerful, powerful. Dr. Ramsue, you're active in the medical community now. I know you are coaching doctors now.
Absolutely.
And what a critical time in this season that we find ourselves in the middle of this pandemic, to be a medical doctor.
Yes.
Can you talk a little bit about the stress level and talk a little bit about who you serve in the medical community, if you don't mind?
Absolutely. What I do is coach physicians and clinicians, so nurse practitioners, PAs, senior nursing executives, to try to take where they are right now to their preferred reality, because it's hard. Right now in this pandemic, they're tired, they're scared, they're confused, they don't understand. There's a lot of people trying to leave medicine. You cannot.
Wait a minute. You're saying it in this season we're currently in, that a lot of them are wanting to leave the field entirely?
Yes.
Is it because of the stress?
It's because of the stress. It's because of the way they're reimbursed. It's the way they're respected. Because now, I tell them now, in this coronavirus season, our stock has gone up tremendously. This is the time to band together and hold each other accountable and help each other and support each other. And that's where I help.
Right, because you've been on the front lines.
Absolutely.
Tell us a little bit more about your program.
Okay, my coaching program for doctors is called the Level Up Program. And because we're trying to take you to the next level, whether you're trying to go into administration, whether you're trying to get another job, whether you're trying to create multiple jobs or multiple streams of income, this is what we do. So there's 7 steps to it. First step is that we talk about what your values are. Because what we're finding is that your values and what you want to do with your career, if they are in conflict, things won't go well. Then next, what we do is we do a personality assessment. Your personality assessment, because a lot of times you think you know yourself, but I want to know what the real you is, what really makes you tick. After that, we help you design a blueprint of where you would like to go in your career. What that blueprint does is it's an executable program. It's not just something pie in the sky. We tailor it to you. We say, doctor, what do you want to do? Nurse, what do you want to do? Physician assistant, nurse practitioner, where would you like to go? Here are the steps to get there. Is it education? Is it another certification? Is it interviewing skills? We also do interviewing and image consulting. As my wife has an image consulting firm, and I use her to talk about our image and our presentation. The product you end up with at the end of the 7th week is a blueprint to execute you getting to the next level of your career.
What an incredible program. Who's it ideally for? Again, lay that out.
Physicians that are practicing more than 7 years, or nurse practitioners, physician assistants, and senior nurse executives.
Dr. Ramsue, I want you to talk a little bit about burnout, because that fascinates me.
Yes.
I don't know the life of a doctor and why they would be burnt out. Can you educate us, please, on why a doctor would suffer from burnout?
Well, there are multiple responsibilities, and it starts early on. So when you're in medical school, you study ungodly hours. A lot of times you don't have a lot of relationship with your family because you're studying. It's always, I'm studying, I can't because I'm studying, I can't because I have rotations. And you get in residency. When I went to residency, we didn't have the limitation on hours or rules, so that now they can only work up to 16 hours. We were staying up 30, 32, 36 hours at a time every third night for my first 2 years of residency. So where can you have balance there? We weren't taught work-life balance or family. And then, so we've done that for 7 to 10 years. Then you get out and they tell you go to work. If you go to private practice. So now you have to be a business person. Well, who taught you how to do that? We don't have classes on that, even though we're trying to teach those classes now, but we don't have classes on that. So you establish that, or you go to, myself, I worked in a lot of emergency rooms. So 4 to 5 12-hour shifts every week, that can get you tired.
Right.
And when that suffers, then your family life suffers. And then when someone says, well, no, I need you to work more, or I need you to see more patients, well, how can I do that? When someone who hasn't ever seen a patient tells you, you need to see more patients because we have to get this revenue up.
Is the divorce rate high among the medical community?
Absolutely. We're seeing something new in the last 2 to 3 years. It was very, very rare that we would see suicide. Now we're seeing suicides.
Right.
So this speaks to the fact that there is burnout, and we need to do something about it. And that's what this period is about. Whenever you have chaos, you have opportunity for change.
Right.
And this is where we have to address this now, and that's what my company helps address.
And that's what you're doing.
That's what we're trying to do.
You're leading.
You're
leading men,
yes,
as a leader of men. Dr. Ramsue, you know my medical history of having a sudden cardiac arrest at 48 years of age. And I remember clearly, and I want to bring this to your attention, and I just want to acknowledge you on this, that within 10 seconds of being placed in the ambulance, I was gone. I went into cardiac arrest. They had to shock me 2 times to bring me back. They're telling me to hold on. It's a chaotic scene in the ambulance because whoever's driving that ambulance is doing with a profound sense of urgency. And they get me in to the cardiac hospital that specialized in cardiac medicine. And when they wheeled me into that bay, into that emergency room bay, there's a medical doctor there, said to me, you're in the right place. You're in the best hands you could ever be in. Everything will be fine. And it was so reassuring. And in that moment of great uncertainty, of fear, of terror, I had comfort because of a medical doctor that spoke a word to me of certainty in that moment in time. The impact that our medical doctors have in our lives is profound, which is
Absolutely.
another reason why I'm so happy you agreed to come on to the show. I didn't know you were going to be dropping the gloves, and going, but thank you for everything that you've done
pleasure.
And what you're doing for the medical community with what is going on. Give us, for the people listening at home, what would you say is the secret of your success?
I think there have been several. The first one is my faith. Second one is my family. And the third one is when I made the emphasis not on me and realized that I'm just as faulty as I can be. But I've been given these wonderful opportunities, so I'm going to take advantage of it. And when I wake up in the morning, one of the first things I say before I get out of bed, Lord, let me help someone. Show me who I'm going to help today.
That is amazing. What do you see in the next season, this next season of your life? What do you have planned? Take us into that.
Oh my goodness, several things planned. I'm going to do a lot more public speaking, motivational speaking.
Yeah, I would imagine that you're gonna get quite a few invites after this show.
You know, in this season, I think the coaching business is going to grow exponentially just because of the season we're in and the niche we're in with clinicians. And I think there are going to be some other opportunities to help so many other people. I think fundraising is going to be in there. Starting a nonprofit. One of the nonprofits that I'm trying to get off the ground is for incarcerated veterans that are transitioning back to society because they're overlooked. And I'm part of that community. Once you're a veteran, you're a veteran. That's the population that I want to work with. So I think there are so many exciting things that are going to happen. Also, in some international work. Really want to do work in the UK, in Africa, in the Caribbean, and share whatever knowledge that I have.
You're not slowing down.
No.
You're not slowing down.
No,
Well,
sir.
you speak to 200 nations, so I mean, we're going to open that door for you for sure.
Yes, sir.
Doctor, what would you say to the person that had some words when they were young, spoken over their life like you did? They were doubted when they were young. Somebody said something hurtful, and they've carried it all these years. What would you say to that young person or that person today?
That you have to become a ghost killer. And what I mean by that, you're living now by the ghost of things you were told a year ago, 5 years ago, that don't even apply now. You're not that same person. And even if you are, you can still overcome that and become what you see yourself being. So become a ghost killer. Don't let things in your life just linger. Don't thrive on your past. They have no power over you now.
Right.
Become a ghost killer.
Dr. Ramsue, we're almost out of time, but before we go, I want to give you an opportunity, sir, to speak to over 200 nations that our show is broadcast to. You've got a word. God has given you that word. I want you to take your time and share that truth to over 200 nations.
Understand that in the time we're in, we're scared, we're frustrated, but it's going to be okay. Understand that we have to lean on each other. Understand that this has already been worked out. Understand that we will go on. And make sure that you believe not only in yourself, but sometimes take the pressure off yourself and believe in someone else. When you believe in someone else, when you give that power to someone else, when you help someone overcome something, it empowers you. And that can be the greatest gift that you can give anybody. So gift someone today. Give them your time. Give them your kindness. Give them your laughter. Give some of you. And believe me, it will come back to you tenfold.
Dr. Ramsue, you're going to have to come back and see me.
I will.
I'm going to be ready for you next time. I'm going to have a seatbelt on this chair so that I can be buckled in for you the next time you come. You'll come back and see me?
Absolutely.
All right, Dr. Ramsue, thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Hey everybody, can you believe we are at the end of another show? And what a show we had lined up for you tonight. You know, ladies and gentlemen, one of my favorite sayings that I have is, God doesn't need Netflix in heaven for entertainment when He's got T.C. Bradley for entertainment. He messes with me all the time, and I argue with God all of the time. One afternoon, my life was profoundly changed when I was in my office minding my own business when God spoke to my heart. And He said, son, you're not playing big enough. And I'm like, God, what are you talking about? I'm not playing big enough. I think I've been playing really big. And He said, son, your definition of playing big and my definition of playing big are two different definitions. And then He laid out some areas in my life where I had played it safe. I had played it small. And I called it wisdom. And I said, God, I see what you're saying. And I made a sacred vow to my God that afternoon in my office. I said, God, I'll never limit what you want to do in my life or through my life for the rest of my life. Ladies and gentlemen, that was a sacred vow. 9 months go by. God had set me up because 9 months later, I was faced with an opportunity to do a national TV show that turned into what you're seeing tonight on your screen, God Made Millionaire TV. I was called out to the deep waters by our God. God had set me up 9 months previous when He challenged me not to go small in my life and to go to the deep waters in my life. If you want to change your life tonight and you're serious about changing your life tonight, I challenge you, yes you, right now, to make a sacred vow to your God to not limit what He wants to do in your life or through your life for the rest of your life. But don't just say it just to say it, sweet pea. You've got to say it like you mean it. And you watch what your God will do in your life. You watch what your God will do. You're not called to play small. You're called to go to the deep waters where your God awaits for you. All right, everybody, I got to get out of here. My producers are telling me we're just about out of time, but we never leave this show without throwing up our shades and hitting our music and doing our prosperity dance. So get your shades on at home, get some attitude going on, and Big Mike, hit my music. Everybody, one of my dreams has always been to be able to be in a position where I can sow a seed into your life. And one of the best ways for me to do that for you is I want to sow a seed into your life where I'll send you my book, Supernatural Success, absolutely at no cost to you other than picking up the shipping. Now, this book retails for $20 on Amazon, so I want to encourage you to call the 800 number on the screen down below. Let me sow a seed into your life, into your vision, into your God-given dream by sending you this book, Supernatural Success, spiritual laws that I use to generate over $1 million online and beat Oprah, yes, that Oprah, in website traffic. I want to sow it into your life. I need you to call the number down below, and I'll send it to you completely free of charge other than you picking up the shipping cost. I'll get it out to you in the mail right away so you can activate your God-given dream.